In the first century congregations, there were many goats, and these believers were different from the sheep-like ones. And in the written testimony, we've been made aware that there were many among believers in those days. And it's no different today. And there are lots of them. And they are also being manifest, as well as the sheep. And many of these goats are very subtle, and some of them not so subtle, trying to add to God's grace to make one justified. I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy, is the cry of the Father. What has that got to do with us? Who the Lord decides belongs to him. In other words, the Father decides who to show his mercy to, and it's not for us to say. And we can fall into a rabbit hole thinking that we decide who is saved or not. With knowledge can come fleshly pride, exalting oneself from others or upon others who may be weaker in the faith and lesser in their understanding. And it's a real pity some of these with great knowledge and wisdom are using that not to humble themselves before the whole church, but to exalt themselves. We all stand on one rock, and that rock is Jesus Christ the Messiah, the risen King, the ruler of the nations and peoples, tribes and tongues. Him come in the flesh, crucified, resurrected, and through him receive the gift of everlasting life. Full stop. We're all justified by faith, and by faith enter into the Father's grace. Otherwise, no one could be declared righteous in our fleshly state. No one could enter into the kingdom if it wasn't for the Father's mercy. So we too must be merciful upon those who we think just haven't got it quite right at the moment, what they're saying, what they're sharing. Because we know, in the fullness of time, it will come to them. So as we take away every captive thought and become slaves to the inner law, the law of the Spirit of life, the law of love, we must stop saying but this, but that when someone is sharing with us. We must not be goat-like. Sheep do not say but. That is for goats. We must become sheep-like, humble, meek, gentle, compassionate. If you don't have those things, but you have high knowledge, you need to start all over again. You need to humble yourself and start all over again if you cannot display or are not walking in those qualities, those inner quality of humbleness, meekness, gentleness, compassion and mercy. Many are mistaken when the fleshly desire wells up inside to condemn others who might have a slightly different way of looking at things. We will all grow into the fullness because the Father is teaching every single one of us And there's one person in particular who's used his understanding to slam dunk others who have things of value to say. And he needs to repent and humble himself. We love and appreciate him very much. But, I'm being a goat now. He needs to humble himself and become low, become less, become the least amongst everyone if he wants to be exalted. We all have jewels and pearls to share with each other. Enjoy those riches that people are spending time to share with each other, that are coming from within each of us. Get rid of the Antichrist spirit that is in you to walk in the newness and partake in the nature of Christ that is in all of us. Because when you're condemning another, you are condemning Christ within them. Peace and love.